Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to another episode in the NeoForged series. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at O's and O generations, so it'll be a long video. So sit back. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is update your NeoForge version to 21.0.65. Before it was something in the 40s, just to make sure you're the latest version. Alright, to get started, you want to head over to your main Java and in your init class, and in here you want to just head over to your block init class. And then within your block, and you're going to create an O, and this O is going to be called example O, and we're going to have one called a deep slate O, because in like the new Minecraft versions now, if you dig deeper, the O's go from like normal O's to deep slate O textures. And just a reminder, my O textures are in here, so blocks, deep slate example O. So when I run data generation later on, that's where I look to find the textures. So if some people run into an error where the textures don't exist, just double check that you have your own textures in the assets folder with your mod id.textures in the block and item. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is public static final deferred block, and here you're going to take block as a generic, and it's going to call it example underscore O, and it's going to be a register block and the name of our O example underscore O, and this is going to be here. You're going to do this following. I'm going to call instance. I'm going to do supplier. I'm going to do just put a new block, and this new block we're going to have custom properties, so dot as in behavior, so block dot properties dot of, and we're going to have dot destroy time. This is how long it takes to be destroyed, 3.0 float, and then we're going to have explosion resistant. So all this can be found on the Minecraft wiki in terms for other blocks, but I'm just going to do these ones. And then for sound, the sound it makes when you break it. So later on, other tutorials I'll show you how to make custom sound. So for now we're just going to do metal, and then we're going to do light level. So here's for example the light source emits, for example redstone, it has light level, or like for example diamond doesn't have a light level, but for now we're just going to have a light level of 5, just so it emits some type of light level, and obviously requires a correct tool for drop. Alright, now we've done that, you can just head over and copy this, and we're going to call this underscore, so this is going to call deep slate underscore example O, so deep slate, and then here just you're going to have the correct name, so deep slate underscore example O. Okay, right, we're done with the block init class because we've done our behavior, and requires correct tool for drop. Now you can just do full copy of a diamond O to get the same properties as I'm just showing you how to make your own custom property just for this episode. Alright, now you can close your block init, and now you want to head over to your item init class. Alright, in the item init class we're going to create something known as a raw example. So because we have two O's which are technically the same, you don't want to just drop that O, like example drop the deep slate O and drop the example O, because then it can clog up the inventory. So what Mojang did is they came up with like a new item which is like an ingot, but just a raw ingot. So I'm going to show you how to create that. So you do public static, and you're going to have here deferred item, and in here we're going to have item. Item. Let me just move this below example item. Deferred item. I'm going to do raw underscore example equals item registered raw example, and just a supplier calling items new items or property. Well, you're pretty much done with that. There's nothing else in the item we need to do. Now we want to head over to our tags init class. So in our tags init class, we just want to create the following. So we want to create a tag for example raw items. So you're going to do the following here. Oops, go back here. So we're going to do the following. So public static example raw item tag, and then just going to call this example raw. I'll just get rid of the item. Just call it example raw, and then example tag, and then now we want to create the tag for our blocks. So we're going to do public static final tag key, and in here we're going to call this takes item as a generic, and this is going to be called example underscore or underscore tag. There's not necessarily a specific name you can call it, but I just prefer to call it example or, just to make sure it matches. And then we'll just do the same thing for deep state. So you can copy this part, and then you can do example underscore deep slate underscore example underscore or tag, and just call it deep example. Also, now wondering why we're creating these tags, because when we do the data gen and we just want to specify what blocks can be used to mine these ores, or later on when we have our tools, we'll need these tags. And also it's best to have tags, as I discussed in a previous video if you have missed it. And then I want to create example or tag to create our for our ores, for deep state, and finally for normal ore. So you've done both these. Alright, so that's fine for now. Alright, now we've done with that, we can close this off, and now we can head over to our data generator class. Alright, within our data generator class, we're going to first of all just go to our tags class. Alright, within mod block tags, we can now add our other blocks. You want to head over to your you want to go over here and you do the following. So tags init dot block tag init dot example example or tag example, and just do the same thing for deep slate. So sorry, what's it? Tags init dot block tag init dot deep slate, and just want to call this basically matches the tag to the block. Alright, now you want to add the example or tag and add the deep slate or tag. Alright, so now we can decide if we want it to be able to mine using iron, stone, or diamond. For this tutorial, I'm just going to do all iron. You can do any one you wish, depending on what type of ore you're using. So example, you do need diamond or needs stone, but we're pretty much done with the mod block tag. And now we're gonna head over to our mod item tag. I'm just gonna call copy for the copy tags init dot block tags init, and I'm gonna do example or tag, and then call that, and then we're gonna do for the deep state, so copy and then tags init dot block init dot deep state, and then just copy that from the item. And now we're also going to do for the raw example, so tags init dot item init dot raw tag, and then we're gonna get the example raw, so it's called raw example. That's what I've called it. Alright, so now we've done that. We're now done with the tags provider. Now we want to head over to our loot table. So the loot table is where we're going to basically state what should drop when we mine the ores. So in here we're going to do the following. So we're going to do add block init dot example or dot get, and we're going to create or drop. And then here we're going to do block init dot example or dot get, and then we're going to do item init dot raw example dot get. And then we're also going to do the same thing for the deep state. So I'm going to add a block init dot deep slate example or create or drop. So deep state example item init. So I believe the first one is a block that the raw example drop for, and only way to get the actual block, the ore, is to use one of the enchantments in Minecraft. A silk touch in order to get that block. All right, now we've done that. We're done with that. We can now start the actual work on the actually one thing I forgot. Now just head over here and just do the following. So you see O's, add block, example O, and just say deep slate O's, add our deep slate O, and then we're going to add item. So just this is basically just a reminder, this is where we're basically set the name of the items or the blocks in Minecraft you can see the names rather than them just being your mod ID dot the uncapitalized name. All right, so now we've done that. Now we want to create one more thing. Keep forgetting. So one more thing we also want to create is just the textures. So we're gonna do here is it's gonna be a normal block, and you're gonna do example, and then you want to do the same thing for deep slate and the normal block init dot deep slate example o dot get, and then for the item state which want to add our row o. All right, so you're gonna do item, and then gonna do item init dot raw example dot get. All right, we're done pretty much now. So now we can start working on the world gen, which is part of a world generation. So we're going to call this world gen. So within world gen, we want to create a class called mod or placements, and within mod or placements, you're just going to have the following sub methods, which we're going to use for just as utility methods when creating our O's. So you just want to create these. All right, so now we can close this class, and the first class we're going to create is called mod placed features, and this is we're going to work on the or start work on the or generation. So the first thing you're going to do is here, so protected static resource key placed feature, and here we're going to have example underscore o equals create resource. So you want to first of all just call create key, and here we're going to call example o. So we need to make this method. So you just do a couple lines here. I'm going to do private static resource key create key, and in here we're going to do the following: resource key dot create, and then we're going to do registries. Registries, and here we're going to call placed features, and I'm going to do resource location dot from namespace and path, and you're going to call your mod ID tutorial mod ID and the name, and you close that off. All right, so we also need one more method here, which is we're going to use to register the configuration for our configured features. And what configured feature allows us to do is say how many O's there are per chunk and between which Y coordinates. All right, so you're going to do private static void register, and the parameter will be bootstrap context, and you're going to get called place features for your generic and be context, and then you need resource key, and they're going to this is going to take placed feature, and this is going to be called key, and they're going to call a holder, and it's going to be called configured features, configured features, and this is going to just to take we're not going to define the generic, and here we're going to call this feature, and then last one we're going to call a list of the place features. So list of placement modifier, I'm just going to call this placement modifiers. All right, we're going to define what's within this method. So we're going to do the following. So you're going to do context dot register, and here we're going to do key, and then call new placed features, and I'm going to feature, and the placement modifiers. All right, so now we can actually just register what we need to register. I forgot to add this thing here. All right, so we're gonna create a method. So it's going to be called public static, and I'm gonna void bootstrap, and add the parameter. We're going to get bootstrap context placed feature, and in here we're going to call context. All right, so when in here we're going to create a holders getter, which basically will look for the config features for the registry. So we're going to do holders getter config features, and then we're also going to create another holder which will basically state where we want our OS. So we're going to create another class called mod config features, because you can see if you want your O to be in the overworld or the nether or the end. For now, I'm just going to show you how to do it for the overworld, and then finally you just want to register. So we're going to do context example O, and then you call the holder, and then you're going to do mod O placement .common O. So in here, this is going to be the vein size. It's going to be 3 veins per chunk. I'm going to do the height, range placement, and this is going to be uniform. And in here we're going to have vertical anchor dot absolute. So we're going to stay here. It's going to be between y minus 64, so minus 64, and then we're going to do vertical anchor, and from y is minus 64 to y20. Now you can change this to whatever you want, but I'm just going to do this for simplicity's sake. So you can have it from y minus 64 to 0, or you can have it minus 64 to minus 20. There's really no max settings up, unless you do to obviously the height, which is the maximum Minecraft height, which will just not work. Alright, so now we can head over to our mod config feature, and in here we're also going to create another resource key. So we're going to be protected static resource key, and here it's going to call config features, config features, and we're going to take question mark, and here we're going to call this overworld example O, and just close this off. And here we're going to call create key like we did before. Now we're going to create that method. So that method will just be resource key registries or config features resource locations. Basically combines our mod ID with the name. So basically what we did from the past. And now we want to create another register method, so private static, and in here we're going to create a generic called extends fc extends feature configuration, basically meaning that when the generic we pass, it has to basically extend feature configuration. And then we need to create another one, so extends feature, and then here we call fc, and then we can close this off, and then we call void register, and here you're going to have register and have bootstrap context question mark, close that off, and then here we're going to call this context config features, and then we're going to call this here context, and then we're going to have another parameter which is for resource key, and this is going to take config features as well. So config features, alright, and this is going to be called key, and then we're going to call generic f and just call this feature, and then fc for config. Alright, now, and then what you want to do is just register your context, so you can have new config feature and config. Alright, now we want to create a bootstrap method, so public static void bootstrap, and then if you do bootstrap context, in here you're going to call config configured feature, and you're gonna just do the following, and then that's it. And I'm gonna call this context. Alright, in here we're going to basically set the rules so you can have replace stone ores, deep slate ores, or netherrack when you are doing ore generation. So these are all block tags. So if you do your own, you'll need to create a block tag for that, but that'll be a more complex tutorial. So rule test, and here I'm going to call this stone replaceable, replaceable, and it's going to be a new tag match test, and we're going to call the block tags dot stone underscore on underscore or replaceables. And then you're going to do the same thing for deep slate. So rule test, and it's going to be a deep slate replaceable. I'm just going to call the block tags for deep slate or replaceables. All right, now we need to create our list. They're going to be list or configuration dot target block state, and this is going to be our, for example, O. All you need to do the following: so list dot of, and then the O condition that's going to be, so we need to create the target, and it's going to be stone replaceable, and they're going to say that our block will replace the stone. I'm going to do get dot default block state, and then you can just do here one sec, sorry, and then you want to do the same for deep slate. So deep slate or configuration, and now you want to register it. So register, so context, you're going to do overworld example O, and you're going to do feature dot O, say what type of feature is, and then you or configuration. So example or under size. So the size is number per chunk, I think, and now that's example all you want to do. All right, now we're done with that. Now you just want to head over and create one more class called mod biomes modifier, which allows us to modify the biome. So to add our O, so we're gonna create protected static. This class is important in order to be able to modify the biome. I'm going to call resource key and biome modifier, and I'm going to say this is called add underscore example O, and now we're going to create the resource key method. So and then it's going to call the registry. So this will be NeoForged registry dot key dot biomes modifier, but this rest can stay the same. All right, now we want to create our bootstrap method. So public static void bootstrap, and here you're going to do bootstrap context biome modifier, and this is going to be context. All right, in here you just want to look for the place feature, do a context or lookup, and then you also want to do a context or lookup for the biome registries to get that, and then you want to do the following. So context dot register, and here you're going to add example O, and you're going to do new. So basically we're modifying the biome to new biome modifier dot add. It's a new modifier with S, sorry. Dot add features by this features by modifier, and anything you're doing do biome dot get or throw, and then here I want to call the biome tag dot is underscore overworld. If you're doing for nether, you'd have to do for the nether, and then you do holder set dot direct, and here you want to do placed feature dot get or throw mod placed features. So the class we created, mod placed features dot example O, and then last thing you'll do is just do generation step to state what it's going to generate, and it's going to state decoration underground. All right, so we're pretty much done, and then just add the semicolon there, and that, and we're pretty much done. Now we can actually generate our O's. So if you head over back to your if you head over here to stay in the same class, you're going to create another one final class called mod world gen provider, and here it's going to extend data packs. Basically we're creating our own data pack. So also just one more thing, just do all and just clean everything up, and you can move apart from the mods by modify, you can move everything up into that folder just to clean everything up. And in here we're going to do the following. So you create your own constructor, so public mod world gen provider, and then we're going to call pack output as one of the parameters, and then you do complete feature holder lookup dot provider, and in here we're going to just say call it registries, and in here we want to do the following. So super output the registries, and then one more thing, new registry set builder. So you want to add the classes we just created to registries. So we're going to add the following: mod config features. So apparently I've spelled something wrong. Mod config bootstrap. Mod config features, and then call it the bootstrap. All right, so and then you close off, and in here you want to do the following. Just do set the of set the of dot your mod id, so tutorial mod dot mod id, and then that's pretty much it. Now we can allow us to generate the O's we have created. All right, so you can see we're called config features, place features, and by modify. Remember that the mod all plane were just utility methods. All right, now if you head over back to our data generator, you just can do the following. So you can do generator run provider dot world gen provider, and now we can generate all. So you just head over to your Gradle and you just want to run data, and I'll meet you back once that's done.